So perfect, thank you.
Yeah, you've got to get yourself back
We'll
in
just
that
let a few more
mindset.
faces
Not many
stream
people.
in. For those who just joined, we're going to give it another minute, probably start at sort of 1 minute past, maybe 2 minutes past. Got a few people streaming in still. So if you've not grabbed yourself a cup of tea, by all means, grab that and we'll get started in the next couple of minutes. Looking forward to this. Lots of people are asking for more information around SEO at the minute. So some good content here. It's only half an hour. And then we've got 15 minutes afterwards for any Q&A, so stick around for that. And if you've got any questions while it's going on, then by all means, just bang it in the chat and we can come around to it. Not a problem at all. We've got from the verse 1 side. Well, let's just introduce from the verse 1 side first while we wait for a few sort of latecomers. I'm Johnny. I'm an account manager at verse 1, so I look after all of our housing customers here with my team. And I'm going to be sort of your host today, going through the content. We've got Zach as well, who's in fact, we're all in the same room, so my voice is going to be, my face will come up when they're talking. So Zach, go introduce yourself by all means.
Yeah, I'm Zach Jones. I'm the digital marketing executive at verse 1. So I'm in charge of all the SEO for the digital services team.
That's one. We've got Tom as well.
Hi all, and probably most people know me. I'm Tom. I'm the head of customer solutions.
Been here a while, I think.
Over 12 years. I always put that in. And yeah, I run the customer solutions team. So that's everything from the creative and UX teams through technical services, project management, and then our customer success, our ongoing support and education teams as well.
So, we can get started. If people join, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through some content. I'm just going to set some context for the webinar, why we do it. Zach's going to run us through some of the learnings off of recent projects and some of the sort of takeaways that we've had. Hopefully there's some value in that for you guys to take away and talk about internally. We're then going to, Zach, I believe you're going to share your screen and show some of the recent audits.
Yeah.
There's sort of some of the quick wins that we've done, again, with some customers. And then we'll circle right back at the end to Q&A, where I'll take back over as well. So let me share my screen, which is up here. Should be able to see that. Perfect. So, yeah, you're in the right place. We're talking about SEO today. We've got a number of digital services, SEO being one of many. We talk a lot about accessibility, digital inclusion. Oh, yeah, and Adrian, thank you. Just click record as well. So this will be available for you to share internally afterwards. So yeah, as I was saying, we've got 4 or 5 different digital service offerings at the minute. SEO is a core one. We have accessibility and digital inclusion. We have Data Lens, which is all about reading data and making decisions around it, and various other services. But this one keeps coming up in conversations. It's coming back to the fore. I think over the last few years, it's sort of got a bit quiet around SEO. It's very much coming back and being a boardroom discussion. How are the ratings going? Are you at the top of Google? And actually, what's been a learning to me is this is a little bit to do with where you are in Google, but is fundamentally important to patient outcomes and indeed tenant and resident outcomes in our community. So I'm really excited to go through the content. Just to set a little bit of context for those of you who maybe are not verse 1 customers, we were founded 22 years ago, and our founding principles still written above the door. We use innovative technology to make a positive impact to people who are served by and working in our 2 chosen sectors. So whether you are a patient or a staff member within the NHS, or whether you are a resident living in a social home, we are corely focused on homes and on health. And across those 22 years, we've developed 350 digital solutions for our customers across 65 NHS trusts, and it's actually now 50 social housing providers. So lots of customers and millions of end users using our solutions, and all of that is powered by one platform, proprietary technology we built from the ground up, which is the verse 1 DXP. Digital experience platform, which is an open standards and soft key configurable modular experience platform. It sort of knits together digital front doors, websites, portals, apps, intranets, one portal, one sort of platform that brings all of that together. And that is what we do. We do all of these as part of our founding principle to give back. We were founded to do social good. Last year we did we did 75 events with 1,000 attendees last year, all free to attend. It's part of our educational program, which we offer to all customers, and we're delighted to have many of you join us today. So with no further ado, that's just this context setting. We've got an agenda. Zach, do you want to sort of take us through the agenda?
Cheers. So yeah, the agenda today, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Just going over what is SEO, why it matters to you guys, what we usually see goes wrong, how to approach it, and quick wins, and a little bit on AI search at the end as well. So what is SEO? So SEO supports service discovery and task completion. So when we talk about SEO here, we're not just talking about rankings and keywords. We're talking about whether or not a user can find the right page, understand it, and move forward with ease. At the core, SEO helps users reach the right information or service with minimal friction. In the NHS, it can be something as simple as a user searching for a maternity self-referral. They should be reaching the referral route, not some generic service page. And in housing, that'd be a tenant searching for reporting damp and mold. They should be reaching a reporting repairs pathway, not a broad housing advice page. So search depends on the wider digital system. It's not just about words on a page anymore. Search engines are looking at the overall quality of the user experience. They're not just assessing whether a page is clearly structured, so whether it's easy to follow with clear headings and a logical flow. They're also assessing whether it's fast and stable. So does it load quickly? Does it work well on mobile devices? Does it create a frustrating experience for the user? Is it clear in purpose and language? So the page needs to be obvious about who it's for, what it's for, and what the user should be doing next, what the CTA is. Are they going to another page? Are they contacting you? And is it trustworthy and authoritative? Meaning, does the content feel credible and is it up to date? So why does this actually matter? Poor visibility takes up time and resources. So poor visibility doesn't just mean fewer visits on the website or internet reporting. It means users are entering the wrong pathway or failing to complete tasks online, causing them to either call up or email contact centers. So poor visibility creates friction for the user, but also creates avoidable demand for the organization, as more people will be calling up, more repeated contact, and there'll be more manual support from your staff as well. The most recent example I can think of is the meningitis outbreak in Kent. If people can't quickly find the information that they need about this instance, then they'll be calling up or emailing, or actually just turning up in person as well, which just puts way more pressure on staff at a time that they're already dealing with a lot going on. So, yeah. SEO impacts outcomes, not just marketing. So it shouldn't just be seen as a marketing activity. In your guys' sectors, I mean, poor SEO has been a real service consequence. If people can't find the right pages or they miss a key service, then this can cause them to just lose confidence in the platform altogether. And when it comes to answering another question, they just won't even bother with it anymore. They'll just end up calling up or going to different offline avenues. So, I mean, on the good side as well, SEO helps people complete tasks faster, which obviously reduces support demand. And it improves overall satisfaction because the right information is easier to find at the right time. So the broader point here is that SEO affects outcomes. It shapes whether digital journeys work well for the user and whether organizations actually get the efficiency benefits they'd expect from the services online.
No, just to jump in here because it's quite relevant as well with all the customers I work with, which is verse 1 follow an information architecture methodology. So, users in essence being able to find the right information. When they find it, they understand it. And once they've understood it, they can action it as a call to action. There's something to do. I mean, I suppose we've all used websites where we found what we're looking for maybe, but then there's nothing to do. So you end up calling anyway. So it's actually, goes away from that. So while that's core to design principles, all of this goes towards driving engagement and thus better outcomes. Whether that's patient outcomes or resident outcomes in our community, having good SEO, and I speak about this quite often with customers. It's about climbing the rankings on Google, that's maybe how we potentially measure success. Are we number one, on Google? Everyone wants that slot, right? But actually, the outcomes of better experiences that users have by finding the information quickly. Actually, SEO is the very first step of a good user journey, because if they can't even start their journey, then they're not going to end it, obviously. So, for us, it's more about those patient outcomes and better outcomes for people finding the information they want, and then also being able to act on it. That could be internal staff as well on an intranet, not just a website or a portal. So yeah, what usually goes wrong?
Yeah, what usually goes wrong and what we normally see. So most of the common issues we see in practice are that pages often lose visibility after updates. So maybe you change some content or there's a structure change. And this has been done without people taking into account the search impact that could be having. Sites also tend to get slower over time, as there's different tools and plugins that are added. In some cases, users will also be landing on the wrong pages because search engines are not been given a clear enough signal about the best destination to send the user. And then performance drops due to teams often struggling to explain where the responsibility lies, and it's spread across different teams. So you'll have your content team, your user experience team, or the development team working separately when they should be working together and coordinating on this to make sure that SEO is being maximized. So search issues are often organizational. In large organizations, we normally see a lot of issues, usually around how content is managed. So different teams own different sections, structures are evolving over time, and content often reflects internal teams instead of the way users would actually use the platform. So yeah, as I said, SEO needs to be coordinated between the teams around this and use more user language instead of internal language. An example I can think of is in NHS, so separate departments maybe publishing overlapping information for the same patient need, and this can create a confusing user experience for the user when trying to find specific information. How to approach it. So I like to break SEO into 3 main points. You probably heard more technical terms for these 3 bits, but just to break it down like this, it's structure, content, and performance. Structure: can search engines understand what each part of your site is for? Another word for this is the technical side of SEO. The content: does it match what users are actually searching for? So is it matching the search intent of the user when they're searching in Google? The keywords: is it matching the page that they're trying to find? And the performance: is it fast and stable enough to trust? When you're logging onto a page, is it loading fast enough, and images on the page loading fast enough as well? An example I like to give is when I'm scrolling on my phone and I'm on a website. When I scroll down, I see an image. Is it taking 5 seconds to load, or is it loading straight away for me to see?
You can see how this ties so closely into digital inclusion and accessibility, like how they're in tandem. Now, often we make accessibility change when we do our audits for customers.
Yeah,
we do our accessibility audit and we make changes over here, but actually sometimes that can negatively impact SEO as well. Yeah. They should work in tandem, of course, but you have to have 2 separate in your mind. That they both help each other, but actually it can go the wrong way, right? And we've seen examples of that happen where customers have made great SEO changes, but actually the website accessibility has dropped off. 100%. So being able to, again, that information architecture, find it, understand it. It's that middle bit. It's the understanding it in the right reading age, the right language, with a screen reader, are PDFs accessible, all that stuff that sits within the accessibility remit, all can, if used correctly, help SEO as well. And this is why I think maybe within the housing sector, it's the C grade, the consumer standards. Like our users being able to find the information, they're satisfied with that information, they can get the outcome they want. That's why I think maybe accessibility and SEO, I'm hearing it a lot more often within my customer base anyway.
Yeah, and it's one of those things as well. If you work on accessibility without keeping in mind SEO, it can be massively impacted in a negative way. Or unlikely, but positive way as well. So,
I mean, for those of you who don't know, Verse One have a brand new website that's live. So if you go onto our website now, you'll see it's changed more recently. And when we were going live with that, we made some huge improvements to SEO. And actually, before it was live, we noticed that the accessibility was dropping while we were doing it. We had to obviously manage both of those things in tandem to get the best possible outcome. So if you've not seen the website, have a little look at our website. It's gone live. We're still making changes and tweaks as we go, but I like it. It's a good job. Well done, Tom. Well done, you.
AI search and quick wins as well. So it's no secret that AI is obviously a massive changing part in how people find information online. But the SEO fundamentals are still going to matter, and that foundation still needs to be there. We're moving away from the traditional blue links on Google, and we're moving closer to Google interpreting content and summarizing it and putting it onto these learning language models like ChatGPT and Gemini. So the organizations that will really succeed in this incoming AI sort of search wave is the ones who have the clearly structured content that's both easy for users and machines to understand. Pages designed around a clear user need. They have trusted information supported by strong authority signals. And they have technically sound websites that are fast, stable, and accessible as well. So the main point isn't that AI is going to replace SEO, but it's just building on top of that as well. And just some quick wins for you guys. Just to note, for most of these, you might require a site audit. But number one, fixing duplicate or unclear pages. So if you've got similar content on two pages, it will be flagged as duplicate pages, and they'll both be trying to rank in Google and competing with each other in Google. And obviously that can cause confusion for the user as well. Number two, aligning page titles with real patient or tenant language. I found that a massive issue when I first started learning SEO is that I was writing how I perceive it and how I would search it in Google, and that's not always the case when it comes to search. The majority of people will search in a completely different way to how you would initially think.
Let's start with the problem, right? If you're going to be Googling something, actually, what's the problem I'm asking? It's probably start there, and then you can title it appropriately, rather than thinking of the solution. What does this page do? Actually, it's what is it trying to fix? That's what you're going to Google, right? Definitely. That's probably one of the key learnings I've taken away recently.
Improving internal linking between related services. So the one example that comes to mind for me is marathon running shoes and long distance running shoes, for example. If Nike's got two separate pages for these, they should be linking because they're quite similar in what they're talking about. If it starts talking about long distance running or marathon running on one of these pages, it should be linking, and that's just showing good site structure. Number four, change or remove broken links. I'm sure a lot of you will know a lot about this. There are some free tools you can use for this to find broken links on your site. And this is usually this usually happens due to page URLs changing. So being able to find those links and just amending them is a very quick win you can do as well. And then number five, making sure all images have alt text and it actually relates to the content it's sitting next to. So if I've got a page about TV next to the content, it's talking about the TV. There needs to be a page on TV as well. It can't be something completely random. And the alt text needs to be applicable to what it's talking about on the page as well. And then just to wrap it up, small structural fixes normally outperform new content. So just making sure that everything is technically sound at the moment. Fast succeeds adding new things in.
Nice. What I'll do, I'm going to stop sharing, and you're going to sort of spin up, I think, Zach, the sort of audit, some of the tools that we used in the background. I've got a question just as you get that up, which is around your point 1 and point 3. So fixing duplicate and unclear pages. So duplicate pages in terms of like the content, right? But then linking in the marathon versus long distance running, for example, having a link on one page that takes you to another page. You can see there where a problem might exist. It's like the genuine question I'm asking, which is, we're talking about content duplication
Yeah.
across pages there,
Yeah.
rather than those links across, because one is bad and one is good,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You can see where that would maybe go wrong in someone's mind. It's like they then start talking about the marathon running shoes on the long distance page, which would be a bad thing, but making a reference to it with a link.
Exactly, that's the idea. So you're not trying to explain the marathon running page on the long distance. You're just referencing it to send it to the applicable page.
Gotcha.
Yeah, hopefully that. And you said number 3 as well. Internally.
Sorry, no, yeah, no, all good. So are you ready to? If you just start sharing your screen, it should steal it off of me.
Should you all see that?
It's just loading up now. Yep, all good.
Cool. So I'm just going to go over some simple fixes on one of the tools that I use. So this is SEMrush. And these, and I've just done an audit for the first 5,000 pages of the government website, just to show you guys a few of the issues that they've actually run into, which you might actually be seeing in your own sites as well. So, as I said previously, duplicate meta descriptions. And what a meta description is, hopefully you can still see this as well.
Yeah.
Has it gone to the next page?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So a meta description is this bit underneath here. If you've got 2 similar meta descriptions and also meta titles, which is this blue link here, then you'll have pages ranking or trying to compete for the ranking in Google. And what that's actually called on the page is when you're trying to go after the similar keywords, that's called keyword cannibalization. And you're actually trying to battle yourself into trying to get that rank on Google, which causes a lot of confusion for the user if they're seeing 2 similar pages pop up and they're not sure which one to click on, and obviously that's taking them down the wrong path and whatnot. So that's not good. But we've also got internal links are broken. We've already kind of gone over that. As it actually shows on here, you can find a way to fix it on here. It gives you all the different links, but also there are some free tools that you can use online as well. Duplicate content issues. So what this usually means is over 85% of the content on that page is similar. 85 and above. So that could just be images, that could be copy, and obviously that again is you're going to be trying to rank for the same page. So that can cause a lot of confusion, one for the user and also for search engines as well, to tell them which one's more important than the other. Internal images are broken. So this is usually due to an image that's in your content management system has either been removed or there's issues with it on the back end. Yeah, those are just some of the main ones that I've seen here. Nice. Obviously, you've got slow loading speed. That's normally due to, as I said before, plugins been added or new things have been added and they haven't been properly embedded into the website. So yeah, that's just a few key bits there I thought I'd show you guys. But
you can see here again, Zach, I don't know, worth asking the question, because we're going to go to the Q&A now, but you know, this is a constant business improvement thing. It's not something that you do and leave alone for 6 months, 100%. Right? And the same goes for accessibility as well. So, you know, not only is the landscape of accessibility changing, you know, WCAG 2.2 as it is now, WCAG 3 next probably, you know, so the rules will change. Massively, but yeah. So it's not just that, but it's also got, as the website is used, as new content is added, you know, it is that spring cleaning, that constant battle almost of doing it, which is quite a task for a lot of our customers, because the limited resources, limited amount of people that can do this, especially when they're spinning 15 other plates, and having other plates thrown at them while they're at it. Definitely. You know, and it's a constant battle. So, you know, having these sorts of sessions where we talk it through, you know, is always really helpful for me to understand it. But I'm gonna now we are actually going on to, if you stop sharing, Zach, are there any questions? That's the end of the content. We've got sort of you know, 8 minutes left, and we can give some time back. Any questions there? By all means, pop them in the chat if you don't want to come off mute. Yeah, I'll sort of give it back to the room. Anyone at all? Sort of key takeaways, even something that you've sort of learned, you know, share with the group. Always good to know. One question I had while you guys rack your brains is, you know, when the Verse One website went live, what was the main, on that sort of audit thing that you did, what was the main thing that you went through to improve SEO when we went?
It was mainly duplicate content, just from the way our site's structured. We've got a lot of similar, you sort of go into 2 different sections of the site.
Sure.
So the way to just fix that up was really just going through and making sure it's specific to each section of the site, instead of just having a generalized version of it. Some internal links were broken as well, and that's just due to people changing URLs for better user experience. And the contact page was changed from contact us just to contact in the URL. So that obviously changed all the different links in the site that was pointing to the contact. Yeah, that was just some of the main bits.
Yeah, nice. Okay, one of the questions I had for anyone in the room, if I could just ask it to the group.
There's a hand up.
There's a hand up from Vicky. Go to Vicky. You're more important than me.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. Go, hit me in. Hi, yeah. We were just going to ask.
I've got sound.
Can you hear us?
Turn your sound on.
There we are.
I've got ours on.
We can hear you now. We can hear you
You
now.
can hear us.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, we were just going to ask how we can improve our SEO, because obviously we've got all the content within the pages, and yes, we could go through and review that. But is there anywhere else within the CMS where we can add SEO words? Like we previously, when we were on WordPress, there would be certain areas where you could add more words to increase your SEO. At the moment, when you look for Norfolk and Wavy talking therapies within Google, we're kind of at the bottom of the page because we've recently changed our service name. So we need to build that back up again. Just wondering if there's any kind of advice you could give on that.
Yep. So within the CMS, so within the verse 1 CMS, for kind of verse 1 customer side of things, there's different sets of fields specifically for SEO when it comes to looking at pages. So the kind of key ones are having this descriptions and description and keywords are important when creating pages within the CMS or updating them for that information to be pulled through from an SEO point of view. And then there's also some settings on a page in the kind of fourth box down under search options. And that's where you'll find your keywords, but there's also page title for SEO within that as well. So that allows you kind of additional settings against the page specifically for SEO, as well as being able to make sure, you can, within that, you can hide the settings and make sure those pages are discoverable by the sitemap as well. So that's kind of your page specific settings to focus on when it comes to kind of increasing the SEO on the pages rather than just looking at the content of the pages as well. Yeah, that's as well as the description field, which is in the kind of main page details section.
Okay, that's great.
Can I ask on the back of that, how many words you kind of want to stick to, whether or not it then dilutes it if you put a lot more words in, how many you should roughly kind of go by as rule of thumb?
So there's no specific amount of words that you'd need. What Google does is, and the way I've always done it, is it will look at the top 5 pages ranking for that specific keyword. Say it's reporting damp and mold for social housing. It will look at how much content is on those top 5 pages and almost come up with an average of what it is. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing is just you're trying to match the user search intent. So it's always to do with how much content the user wants to see, not what Google is requiring. For example, if I'm trying to search up a yes or no question, you wouldn't need a full 2,000 word essay to explain what the answer is. You would just need a short paragraph saying this is what you need to find. So there isn't any specific amount of content that you need on a page, but it always depends on the keyword you're trying to target and actually what's matching the user search intent.
Also, when it comes to the page meta fields, so that's kind of Zach's point, kind of specific to the content on the page. But when it comes to the page meta fields, you do want to aim for descriptions around 160 characters and page titles for SEO around 70 characters. So those are kind of separate specific meta tags that you do want to kind of have a minimum set for. But yeah, for the actual kind of full content on the page, as Zach said, it's about making sure that the content is relevant as well. And when it comes to the keywords as well, I think there's also a question in chat around those. Again, you want to kind of use those tools to understand what the right keywords, as Zach mentioned, for the content you're trying to get across. Yeah. Generally, you want to also kind of look at bringing those reading ages down on those keywords as well. So you want to kind of go for, if you're looking for similar words, you want to go for the simplest version of those similar words within those keywords as well.
Yeah, just off the back of that, Tom, with keywords, what you guys might think people are searching might be completely correct. For example, anything really. But what I found is a lot of the time there'll be a massive amount of people who are searching this for this massive search traffic or search volume for this keyword, but the competition that there is to rank for that is very, very high. For example, if I was trying to rank for an NHS keyword, I'm battling against all those NHS pages which are prioritized over the other sort of websites just because of their trust and authority, and they've been in the space for so long. So it's one, actually finding the correct keywords, but also finding the ones that don't have super difficult competition, so you can actually show up for them as well.
Nice. Yeah, we've got
Thank
the
you.
question in the chat as well. Did that answer your question, guys?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
No
Appreciate that.
worries. Good. We've got Adrian as well. How do you know which keywords to use and find regular terms by users?
So this will kind of tie into Katie's question as well. So SEMrush is a platform that allows you to do all different avenues of SEO, not just the technical side or the on-page, as the way I put it was the structure, the content, and the performance. It allows you to do all three. A lot of the platforms and the free platforms that you can find will do one of those, but in a very surface level way. But just going off what your Adrian was saying there, keywords there's something called a keyword tool where you can search up different keywords, and it will show you the search volume and the difficulty to rank for that. So it's finding those ones that have a lot of search volume but aren't super competitive, and you can actually rank first or second or third for. Those are the sort of keywords you want to be going after, and it's just using those tools to find them. I don't believe there are any free ones. There might be a few that you can run a couple times, but then you've got to pay for it. But SEMrush is one of those platforms that, yeah, it's a paid platform.
One of the things that we do as well, just to make sure that we say it, is that, you know, as much as there are platforms out there and pieces of software that can help, it takes often a human being to be able to go through these. And that's really especially relevant for accessibility. You've got a really good analogy there of like accessibility scanners saying that something isn't quite right, but then when you look at it as a human, it's absolutely right, and it might actually damage your accessibility score from a software auditing perspective, but actually if you're using the website, it does improve it. And it's very much the same. This is why I asked the question there, which is, you know, having multiple tools and a human being zoomed in at 700% to look at the content, as some people do use it, you know, at that magnification. It is so important, and yeah, that's hence the question I asked in the chat, which is, you know, does it get deprioritized amongst other things? You know, it is important. I know that customers are being asked to do it a lot more, but it's a whole different ball game now, and you know, especially with the uprising of AI and everything there as well. I'd be interested if anyone's, you know, being asked to do this and just finding it really difficult to get the time amongst other things to do it.
Yeah, so just whilst you can drop, wants to drop answer to that in chat, just to also add some information around kind of Adrian's question around keywords, and I guess this also comes into a bit of what Johnny was saying, and Katie's question around, you know, what tools do you use and manually testing these. A really good example, which I remember, I think Randall, for those who have been with us for a while, who used to be at North Hertfordshire Homes before it became Settle, did a presentation for us several years ago now, which show how long I've been here, around kind of the wording that they use. I use this example quite a lot. It's because they had a page on the site that was about reporting antisocial behaviour, and it was called Report ASB, and they found the traffic to that page was so much lower than the rest of the site. So we actually worked with them and did some workshops with some tenants and talking to them specifically, and went through kind of sets of pages that weren't rating well for either SEO or for from an analytical point of view, and just went kind of, you know, what are you trying to achieve from this page? And the tenants were basically saying, I don't know what an ASB is, so I just never bothered clicking on it. So what they did was just change that from, rather than saying report as, was to report an issue with my neighbour, and that increased the traffic to that page by, I think it was 400% within a week. So actually, when you're looking at kind of keywords and the what phrases to use, that you really want to be doing those workshops with those tenant groups or with those patient groups to make sure you're matching the terms to what the users are going to be expecting, especially both the industries that we've got in the chat now that we work with. There's a lot of quite technical terms, a lot of different abbreviations that can be quite confusing that day to day we take for granted because we're in the industry every day, whereas actually they're not going to know what those are. I was talking to an NHS team about doing some testing on the phlebotomy page, and we decided to not use that, which is great because it's one I would never have been able to spell correctly at all. So being able to get traffic to a phlebotomy page is going to be tricky for me. So it's really about being able to also bring together the users who are actually kind of the key people you're trying to focus on, and work with them to understand what makes sense to them and what they're looking for.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, Kate, thank you for your answer there. Doing more with less, we're hearing it all the time, value for money and having less resources to be able to do this. And so just to go back to that, for everyone that has joined this webinar, by all means stick around if you've got more questions. We've not got hard stop, so please stay on the webinar by all means and ask more questions. Just before I forget to say it, we have written down all of your names. We'll be reaching out to you. We will be offering, just thank you for joining the webinar, a free soft audit of SEO. So we'll be able to put forward some ideas of what we can do. If you would like to be included with that, by all means, let us know. Reply to the email you're about to receive from your account managers. But we will do that soft audit for you. If you want to do the full one, then we can absolutely, have that conversation. It might be a good place to start, at least get us down that journey. So no worries, Katie. That's great, and yeah, thank you, Anna, as well. But we're going to stick around. So by all means, if you've got more questions, ask away. But for those of you who need to crack on, then by all means. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
No worries. No worries, Vicky.
Cheers. Thanks all.
It's still in. Oh, we can stop recording now, yeah.